this is my request. I want to get the list of all the sales by Mary. So how can we do this? I'm going to use this cell here to type the name of Mary, and we can use that as kind of a criteria range. And in here, let's try first with filter. If I have the filter function available, it's part of the modern dynamic array functions in Excel. If we want, we can use the filter function, and I want to filter this list in a way that only shows me the rows where the sales rep, so this column here, has the name Mary in it. So the array would be this one. And even if I select with the headers, I can do that. You will see that we won't get the headers because this column here on that first cell does not have Mary. But so it doesn't matter in this case. And then comma, and then it asks us, what do you want to include? Well, I want to include the rows where in this column I have the name Mary. And then I could close it here, or if we see, I still have an optional parameter here at the end where I can say what's the result of the formula I wanted to show if no row had Mary. So in that case, I'm going to ask no data found. How you can use that parameter, or if you don't put it, you can also leave it blank. Oh, it's telling me because it's the first time I'm using the dynamic array formulas here in this session on my computer. It's explaining me stuff about the spilled arrays and all that. So this is the result we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows with Mary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows with Mary. So that looks okay. We see that I didn't get dates or the price here formatted. So I lost formatting when I was filtering, and then I would have to address that. So I would have to come here and say this is a date, possibly even expand the formatting down to more rows so that if my next search goes down to more rows, I get the formatting and I don't have to be adjusting the formatting all the time. So I could do this, and same thing here for the currency. Okay, so that's one thing with the filter function. It gives us the values without the formatting. I'm going to do Control-Z to undo, to delete that formatting from there. So, and also here when I typed Mary, if I wanted, I could just, instead of typing my name, the name I want, I can just point to this cell, of course, and then now instead of Mary, if I put here John, one of the other names, I get the results instantaneously, so the formula updates immediately. Let's say there's no Celia here, so if I come here and enter Celia, it gives me no data found, like I instructed here in the formula. Okay. Another thing about filter function is, or any of the dynamic array functions, for those of you who may not be familiar with them, is that although we see all the results here in a number of cells, a range of cells, the formula only lives in this cell, okay? And then it spills to the right and the bottom as it needs to fulfill the conditions, the requests I entered in my formula. If I click in any of the other cells, I can still see the formula, but you see how it shows grayed out. And if I try to edit, I lose the formula. It's not there. So it's just showing me like kind of a shade of the formula that in fact lives in the first cell where I typed it. Let's see now if the request was, I want to know the unique list of products sold by Mary. Okay, so product. And here I'm going to use the formula filter again. I want to filter just products, so I can just filter this column. I don't need to indicate all the columns. I just want the products. So the array to filter is this one, comma, and then what do you want to include? So here I need to put some kind of condition that will return true or false, and based on that, each one of the rows in the product will be captured to the results of the formula or not included. So I want to include all the rows where in this column where we have the sales rep, we get a value that is equal to Mary. So I could type in between double quotes Mary, or I can just point to the cell where I have the name Mary already typed in. And finally, the optional parameter, if empty, I want to say nothing found or no products found, something like that. Close parentheses, and there we go. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows where we have Mary, and here we get 6 rows also we can check in here. And of course we get, for example, cap appears twice, shirt blue appears twice, because I asked filter all the rows where I have the name Mary. To get a list of unique values, I would have to wrap this function in another one, also part of dynamic array functions, which is the unique function. And let's put this in between brackets. And now this way I get the results, just the unique values, okay? Cap, shirt, and pants, shirt blue and pants blue. So that's how we could use the filter function for this request. Of course, again, if I come here and I put, for example, Ben, that is one of the other names available, I get the unique list of products sold by Ben. So again, dynamic function is great. Dynamic array function, the filter function, is great because it updates automatically as we change the values that are used inside that function as a parameter.